sat on the stool, watching everything the engineer would do. One day the engineer wanted a bite to eat. He left the monkey sitting on the driver's seat. The monkey pulled the throttle, locomotive jumped the gun and did 90 miles an hour down the main line run. Big locomotive right on time. Big locomotive coming down the line. Big locomotive number 99 left the engineer with a worried mind. The engineer called up the dispatcher on the phone. Tell him all about his locomotive was gone. Get on the wire, switch operator to right, 'cause the monkey got the main line sewed up tight. Switch operator got the message in time. Said there's a northbound limit on the same main line. Open up the switch and gonna let him through the hole, 'cause the monkey's got the locomotive under control. Big locomotive right on time. Big locomotive coming down the line. Big locomotive number 99 left the engineer with a worried mind. Left the engineer with a worried mind. Left the engineer with a worried mind. Why, thanks. Again, hi out there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce one of my guests for this evening. His name is Dave Schools, and he has a fabulous list of exploits. Most notably, he's playing with my old pal Mickey Hart, and we'll dive into that in a little bit. And I guess we're going to do an old railroad tune.
Yeah, let's play some music, yeah?
Huh?
Play a little music?
Yeah. We're also supposed to talk, but we'll get warmed up, you know, loosened up and all that kind of stuff. This one's an old railroad tune, goes back to the 20s, I think. Well, I love to hear that Casey when she moans. Love to hear that Casey when she moans. Love to hear that Casey when she moans. Well, she sound like she got a heavy load. Listen, when I get back on that Casey road, when I get back on that Casey road, when I get back on that Casey road, well, I'm gonna love my woman like I never loved before. that Casey when she moans. Love to hear that Casey when she moans. Well, she sound like she got a heavy load. She sound like she got a heavy load. She sound like she got a heavy load. Well, me and my uncle went riding down South Carolina, West Texas bound. We stopped over in Santa Fe, that Bend Point, just about halfway. Yes, you know, it was the hottest part of the day. I took the horses up to the stall, went to the bar room, ordered drinks for all. 3 days in the saddle, you know my body hurt. And it being summer, well, I took off my shirt, and I tried to wash off some of that dusty dirt. West Texas cowboys, there's all around. With liquor and money, they's loaded down. So soon after payday, which seemed a shame, so you know my uncle, he starts friendly game. It's a hollow jack in the winter, take the hand. Started winning, cowboys got sore, and one of them called in, and then two more accused him of cheating. Well, oh no, it just couldn't be. 'Cause I know my uncle, he's honest as me. He's none as honest as a Denver man can be. One of them cowboys, he starts to draw. I shot him down, Lord, he never saw. Shot me another, hot damn it, he won't go. In the confusion, my uncle grabbed the gold. Yes, and we hightailed it down to Mexico. All of them cowboys, I love the gold. Love my uncle, God rest his soul. Taught me good love, taught me all I know. Taught me so well, well I grabbed that gold, and I left his dead ass there by the side of the road. Why, thanks. So what are we doing now? Oh, I'm interviewing you, or you're interviewing me.
I'm interviewing you.
Yeah.
Would you like to be interviewed?
Yeah.
All right.
I got stuff to say. I got lots of stuff.
Got some experience to build upon. Well, I was asked to think of a question that would really put you on the spot, seeing as how we're live out on the internet here.
Right.
But I really didn't want to do that to you.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just figured as someone who's been in a band where cards are thrown to the wind on a nightly basis, and I kind of do the same thing for a living, that was there ever a moment where it just got too weird for you? Just too weird.
Almost.
You
know, there were times, like, for instance, back in the day, I took LSD for every week on Saturday for a year, and then I quit. Now this was starting back in, it was 1965 on Jerry's birthday, August 1st of 1965. I popped acid for the first time, and then I came back around from my last acid trip, or at least the last one that was my idea. Exactly a year later. That said, I've been fed a little acid. It was considered great sport to try to dose the kid back when. That happened, and a lot of times things got really weird. But I think the weirdest, I wasn't dosed. The weirdest, almost too weird, but not quite too weird. All that stuff that was weird when I was dosed or whatever, or just in general, stuff got weird on stage. Was it too weird? No, because I'm still here. But the one time that I kind of wished I was out of here, and I'll tell you why in a minute, was when we were playing in Egypt. And I got to write a book someday, and this will be in there. So we went to Egypt. We did our sound checks. It was a lot of work setting up in Egypt, because technologically they're not advanced as say California there, and getting electricity to the gig was a challenge, and getting electricity that would stay on for a whole gig was much more of a challenge. I'm not sure that we ever actually met that one, but we had everything pretty much set up best we could. And we went out on stage, and it was right at sunset. Now the stage is the Soleil Lumiere Theater in Giza, outside of Cairo in Egypt. It's an old, ancient, thousands of years old amphitheater at the foot of the Sphinx, which is at the foot of the Great Pyramid. And we went on stage at dusk, and we lit up, and the lights were warming us up, and it was already hot, and that was kind of uncomfortable. And so we weren't, I wasn't real fully dressed. I had like shorts and a tank top on, I think, and we started playing. I think it might have been Bertha. I'm not sure. It might have been. Well, anyway, we start playing, and I start getting real uncomfortable, stings and stuff, and I look down on my arm, and it's covered with mosquitoes. And the Soleil Lumiere Theater is right by the Nile River, and it's dusk, and there are a lot of mosquitoes, and my arm is covered with mosquitoes. And I'm thinking, okay, welcome to hell. You came halfway around the world to play this dreamlike event, and you're going to get carried away by mosquitoes, or at least eaten alive by them, probably get West Nile virus or North Nile virus in that case. And there's really nothing you can do about it because there's no time to take a break and cover up with some god-awful kind of mosquito repellent or anything like that. I'm thinking, this is really going to suck. And just as I'm thinking, this is really going to suck, something flies by my head. And then another thing flies by my head, and another shapeless form goes by my head. And I sort of back off and look around, and there's these bats, big bats, about that big across, 1.5 feet across. And they're taking out the mosquitoes. And there are lots of them. I mean, lots and lots of them, hundreds, thousands of them. And so I back up a little bit, and I look across the stage, and I mean, it's kind of almost black with bats. And then I sort of left my body for a minute, and I'm thinking, okay, take me now, Lord. I want to remember it just like this. A rock and roll band, all lit up like a color TV gone haywire, playing on a ageless stage at the foot of the Sphinx, at the foot of the Great Pyramids, all of them lit up right splendidly. And the band surrounded by a cloud of bats. Take me now, Lord. I want to remember it just like this.
That's good. Sounds like a Hunter Thompson nightmare.
And now, we're going to do a tune that was first recorded by, I'm having a senior moment here.
Sonny Boy do it first?
Sonny Boy Williamson. Been done by virtually everybody, but this was first recorded back in 1937. 1, 2. Good morning, little schoolgirl. Morning, little schoolgirl. Can I come home? Can I come home with you? Tell your mama, your papa, I'm a little schoolboy too. I don't know, pretty baby, no pretty baby. What I want to do. I don't mean to misplease you. Oh, baby, getting mad with you now. Mad with you. Come on, be my baby, be my baby. I buy you a diamond ring. You don't like that pretty babe, ain't gonna get you a doggone thing. Gonna buy me an airplane, buy me an airplane. Fly all over from town to town. I don't find my pretty baby gonna let that airplane down. Airplane down. Good morning, little schoolgirl. Good morning, little schoolgirl. Can I come home? Can I come home with you? Well, tell your mama or papa I'm a little schoolboy too. Schoolboy too, schoolboy too. Tell your mama, your papa, I'm schoolboy too, schoolboy too, oh schoolboy too. Tell your mama, your papa, I'm a schoolboy too. Well, well, tell your mama, your papa, I'm a little schoolboy too. Why, thanks. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. Looking for a chateau, 21 rooms, but one will do. Looking for a chateau, 21 rooms, but one will do. Don't wanna buy it, just wanna rent it for an hour or two. Made an old mistake walking down the street today. Made an old mistake walking down the street today. Didn't want to be mean about it, but I didn't have one good thing to say. West LA fade away. West LA fade away. Little red line on the highway, big green line on the speedway. Had a steady job, hauling items for the mob. Had a steady job, hauling items for the mob. Pay was pathetic. Pity those boys couldn't be more copacetic. Meet a West LA girl, already know what I need to know. Meet a West LA girl, already know what I need to know. Name, address, and phone number, yes. Yes, and just how far to go. West LA fade away. West LA fade away. Little red line on the highway, big green line on the speedway. a chateau. 21 rooms, but one will do. Looking for a chateau. 21 rooms, but one will do. Don't wanna buy it, just wanna rent it for an hour or two. West LA fade away. West LA fade away. Little red line on the highway, big green line on the speedway. Another chorus. West LA fade away. West LA fade away. Little red line on the highway, big green line on the speedway. Little red line on the highway, big green line on the speedway. Little red line on the highway, big green line on the speedway. Well, thanks. Before I introduce any of our other guests, I figure we ought to wrap up the Dave and me interview section by, I'm going to interview Dave now. How's it going out there on the road with Mick?
It's wonderful. It really is. It's every day is a different experience, as you well know.
Oh yeah.
But frankly, I've never encountered another musician who is so constantly pushing forward. He wants to take in everything and convert it to music. And right now it's the universe. He's taking it in, he's converting it to music. And it's pretty amazing because thanks to the wonders of modern technology, the beam is tuned. The beam can be tuned, and it's pretty amazing.
The beam is tuned?
The beam is actually tuned to whatever song you're playing it in. So he can hit it on a downbeat, and it's the note of that song.
Wow.
It's amazing, and it's really been a wonderful experience.
Hats off to tech.
Yeah, it's improving. They used to say better living through chemistry. Right. I think it's better living through ones and zeros, isn't it?
Right. I remember there was one time, this might have ended up in his book, but there was one time that we got, I think it was a Nagra recording machine that he and I borrowed from somebody. It was the middle of the night, and it was, this was back in the 67, 68, something like that. We borrowed a Nagra tape machine. Now, a Nagra tape machine, it was reel-to-reel, quarter-inch tape, but it sounds better. It's a better sounding recording device than anything you can find these days. They don't make them anymore. I don't think they make them anymore. They should if they don't. But anyway, we borrowed this from somebody, and a microphone and a real good microphone and a length of cord. And our plan was to sneak into the San Francisco Zoo because it was full moon and just record all the animals. The siamangs, anything that's going to go off on a full moon, we were going to be there and record it. We tried scaling the walls and all that kind of stuff. We almost got in, but we almost landed in jail. We got run out of there. But, Mick's his thirst for that kind of authenticity. If it makes a sound and it's weird, let's make music out of it.
I think it's a really good thing. I mean, that's always been the spirit of new music.
Right.
If it sounds weird, let's see what we can do with it.
You know, Mick and I used to get along like cats and dogs way back when, but since we've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate his absolute uncharted weirdness. And I think it's probably somewhat mutual.
I can't agree more.
Well, we got, what's next? You tell me.
Oh, we're going to tell more stories.
What's up with Barlow?
Oh, that's right. We got a new segment for this show. And I'm going to introduce my old pal, John Barlow. And then this new segment, it goes like, it's What's Buggin' Barlow. And he gets to do a little rant, and then I get to join him, and I get to rant a little too. So let's see how that goes.
So I came in here tonight and was asked to do a little rant, and it took me about 15 minutes to come up with the right one, because there's plenty of things that I could rant about at the moment. But I decided, and this will probably be too serious for many people, but I decided to rant about guns in America. I'm from Wyoming, where guns have been part of the furniture all my life. And I can't say that all the guns I grew up with or came to know were strictly for hunting. To be perfectly honest, there were plenty of guns around that were about nothing but masculinity amplification. Why anyone in the most macho place in the non-Islamic world would feel like his masculinity needed amplification, I'm not sure. But nevertheless, when I was young and stupid with testosterone, I got a pistol grip, pump action, 16 gauge shotgun that I used to call the crowd pleaser. You could probably cut down a fair-sized tree with a full magazine from that gun. It was not about hunting. It was about a very dumb sort of confidence. I also have, as Mr. Weir here knows too well, a Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. Mister, you just shot me. I did not. I used to think that firing an indoor round from that gun into the floor was a great way to make an emphatic point.
Or get a guy up.
In fact, the night before I got married, I was doing just that and actually winged Bobby when the bullet ricocheted. He was still my best man the next day, but it could have been much worse. Well, I've quit doing that sort of thing, but I kept my guns because I believed in the political argument. I really believed for a long time that an armed populace was an excellent disincentive to overzealous government. I used to think that maybe if we were really serious about the Second Amendment, people had a right to tactical nuclear weapons. But the fact that millions of Americans own assault rifles, and many of these have big enough clips you can take out an entire kindergarten class without reloading, has not stopped our government from becoming pretty damned assertive. Hell, we have a government that has repealed habeas corpus and has flying robot assassins. If this were a movie, it wouldn't be the good guys that had the flying robot assassins. But if we have to take them down, we won't be any better at it with assault rifles than the Taliban have been. The Bill of Rights doesn't work quite like it used to, and all these guns don't seem to be making much of a difference. I think it's time we all woke up to the fact that the Second Amendment was about making it unnecessary for the United States to have a standing army, which we certainly have now, and that if we want our government to preserve our rights, we're going to have to elect one that will. And it's probably time we backed off on the teenage macho bullshit factor with the guns we sell in America. If you need a 40-round magazine to go hunting, you need your vision checked.
What do we do next? Oh,
I'm starting.
okay. Well, I remember using guns for punctuation.
Well,
large bore sidearms.
Sure. And it was good for getting you awake.
Right. Yeah.
I was thinking about what Dave asked you earlier, Bob, and that is, did it ever get too weird for us, or myself, being on the crew of the Grateful Dead?
Well, this is Steve Parrish, by the way. Let me introduce
Hi,
you.
everybody. And, we were down at Winterland. I think it was the last day of 1969.
Hey, why don't you come on over
and
here?
Quicksilver and us and the airplane were doing the show that night. And Jackson comes up to me, and him and Healy, and they go, "Hey, you got a job with Quicksilver." Because remember, Doug McGuire, he was their roadie, and everybody got dosed that night, and he got so high. There he was sitting, laying on the floor between Kreutzmann and Mickey, completely naked and smiling, just a smile from ear to ear, with his hands behind his head and just out like a light, almost sleeping, but in some twilight zone. And so we roused him, me and Jackson. "You all right, Doug?" And he looked at us and jumped up and ran out the back door of Winterland. And so we used to say that you needed not only a cast iron stomach, but you needed a cast iron head to work around our scene, because you were getting dosed a lot. And Pigpen was a guy who didn't like to get dosed. Oh, he would get so mad.
I didn't either.
None of us did. Nobody did. Nobody
Not
liked
like
it.
that.
But it was a hazard of the job, I thought, And so Pig would really get mad because everybody thought that was going to help him if he got higher on acid. So he made sure to get really mad. And as a matter of fact, he let me give him water because I promised him on a stack of whatever we swore on that I would never dose him. But it was a free-for-all pretty much all the time. And Barlow right here, he would get really to the point where I'd see him sitting there, and he had this look on his face like, all you guys are wrong. Whatever you're doing right now, you're wrong. And he was going to fix us and straighten us out. If he wasn't there physically, he'd send us a letter. His letters were so famous with us that so Bobby would try to read it at the start of a meeting before the cat calls shut him down. But you always had a good view from the outside and the inside on all of us, and thank you for your advice. Not that I ever took
Glad you
it.
didn't take any of it.
But when we were in Egypt at 5 o'clock sharp, the sky would darken, as Bob says, as the bats left the little cracks of the pyramid. I mean, they literally blackened the whole sky. And thank goodness, because they ate all the bugs that you guys were swallowing, too. Not only were they landed on your arms, but you were breathing them in while you were singing, which I thought you kind of liked, actually. But
No.
no, you didn't. And when we took LSD and we weren't at work, sometimes we had fun, actually. It was always that we were at work, and then somebody would say, "Hey, touch these 2 amps." And they weren't grounded, and you would get that extra electric shock. And that really was how the term electric started, I think, Because remember when we smoked DMT, Bob? The amps would always blow up. Owsley taught us that.
There is something about that. There's something about electrotelekinetic something
Yes.
or other that, it did somehow interact with the electronics. I'm quite sure.
It happened so many times.
Just works with tubes, though.
Yeah, it just works with tubes. I don't think it works with digital.
Yeah, I think you're
No,
right
no,
about that.
that's not entirely true now.
We never smoked anyway.
Not
did
that
we?
long ago. Talking about straight up electrotelekinesis here. You know how whenever you yawn, everybody else yawns.
Right.
Or they yawn and then you yawn, and that's basically you're sending out little electrotelekinetic waves that and you get a sympathetic response from the folks who are receiving that. However they receive that, I think the fine hairs on your face, your hair, whatever, hair on your arms, where you've got little receptors, and they receive that stuff from people, and then they respond however they will. But I noticed a long time ago, a couple decades ago, that the same thing happens over the telephone. If you're talking on a landline, and you yawn, and you check it out sometime. Call somebody on a landline late at night, so you're bound to yawn.
But don't tell them.
And don't tell them you're yawning, but you yawn, sort of the back. And that little carrier wave, whatever that impulse that causes other people.
The sleepy part of the dark matter.
Right. The guy on the other end of the phone will yawn. It'll happen every time. It's and I'm still wondering if I wonder if that works on cell phones or not. I don't know. We'll see.
The amplifiers we used were like brains. They were small, very simple brains. And so when we got high, they got high too.
Right.
And if we got too high, they got too high. And they would start doing weird stuff, right?
Right.
Remember, how many times we'd be out there and something would go wrong and we knew it wasn't in the realm of anything that we did. It was some force above us. And we had to deal with that. And remember, there was a night at Winterland, you might remember, where Owsley, at the end of the night, he was standing there with his face in a speaker.
All right.
And pointing at that speaker, and he couldn't talk. It was we stayed with him, you and I stayed with him for hours.
Well, then we pulled him over his side, and the speaker was there, and he was saying, he was talking about one of the amplifiers that was driving that speaker.
Right.
And he was saying, this amplifier has a demon in it.
Yeah.
See, he doesn't like it when I do this. He's just turning up the volume and it's feeding back. But he doesn't like it when I do this. See, it has a demon in it. And I wasn't going to argue with him because...
He was angry at the metal domes that Jerry was using. I remember that.
All right. Yeah. So let's start reading questions. We got questions coming in. Is that your job?
I've got some on a piece of paper here.
And there's some coming in too.
I was just looking to see if we had any coming in right at the moment.
Well, you start with the
Let's
ones.
start with what we got.
Let's start with what we got. Now, we're not answering questions like, so Bob, how's Phil?
Nobody's asking
We're
that.
not doing that. So when are you going to get Rat Dog back together? Come on. We want weird questions. We want entertaining questions.
Here's a weird question. It goes, Bob, what do you do with your free time when you're on tour? Well, there's no free time on tour.
Jesus Christ, I bubble my spit. That's,
I'm afraid there's some truth to that.
Well, they want to know about your Super Bowl party that you're going to have.
They're not asking very many live questions here. It's mostly just commentary. Come on, you can ask us some questions.
Steve,
right here, TRI Studios, at TRI
This is
Studios.
a question that Jerry asked me. Jerry asked me like 40-some years ago. What's the difference between a duck?
And
one leg's both the same.
Yeah, traditional answer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I never checked it. Did you?
Oh,
I take Jerry's word for it.
Yeah, like a lot of things. But this reminds me of one time he and I hijacked a radio station. We were both really drunk in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and it was late at night. And we were having people call in and ask us questions, and we didn't like the questions they were asking. They didn't seem inspired enough. So we started calling people up in the phone book at 2 o'clock in the morning and asking them questions.
Right.
Like, what would a chair look like if your D's bent the other direction?
well, Jerry taught me a real
They didn't let us do that after a while.
Sometimes when we first started going on the road, you guys remember, there was no TV, there was no cable, there was maybe a couple of stations, and when we'd be in places like Wyoming, where you're from, there'd be nothing to do after about 11 o'clock, So Jerry came up with this game where we'd call it E-Bible, like I Ching. And you just grabbed it. There was always a Bible in every hotel room. And so we'd grab it and we'd ask it a question and open it up. And I'll be damned if it always didn't have some answer that we could go by. And then we started doing it with everything. Signs in the universe, Herd would throw his suitcase out the window, and if it broke a certain way, and the clothes all landed in a certain way, we could read that like our future.
Tea leaves.
Because he'd walk in, remember Sonny Herd? Now he'd walk into a hotel room, he'd throw his bag across the room, say, Herd's the name, rock and roll's the game, give me my fucking room. And we usually got kicked out of the hotel that night.
Somebody hated him so much that after he died, they kept coming around and digging him up.
Yeah, that's true. Because he did some bad things, John. He did some real bad things.
I remember he did some bad
He left some
things.
folks with a bad taste in their
No,
mouth.
Bobby used to dedicate the song to us every time Mama tried, if you remember, to the crew. Because each and every one of us knew we were one foot on a banana peel. And I was so glad when I passed 21 and wasn't doing life without parole. I thought I accomplished something, actually. But the band knew it, too.
We're still not getting any questions from Twitter. Maybe there's nobody out there.
No, they're writing them. We're not answering them, that's all. What do you prefer to play these days, acoustic or electric, Bob?
It depends on the tune, depends on my mood, and and all kinds of stuff. I got a lot of good guitars. And I love them all, and I play most of them.
Somebody's asking me, did I ever still dose Pigpen, even though I promised not to? No, I never did.
Who is the
promised.
song "Hell in a Bucket" about?
That was about our lives, I thought, at that time.
There was a girl in that song.
There was a girl in that song. I was writing about codependence everywhere.
Oh, really?
Right.
Was that personal? I thought you were writing
No,
about
it
how
was-
messed up we all were.
No. Well, I was writing about how messed up.
How messed
we
up
all
you were.
No, well, me and others as well. But I mean, there was always some would-be school mom
I actually
that would
had a
get
girl in-
attached to one of us
Yeah.
and try to sort us out.
Try to save us, yes.
I actually had a girl in mind, but I'll be stir-fried if I'm going to actually name her. Come on.
No, you could
Oh,
you could
the
name
girl
more
that you
than
were,
one.
wrestling
unfortunately.
with
Tall,
in the
skinny,
elevator
blonde.
that time?
Let's see. Can you tell us one good joke or a bad joke? Let's see. Okay. Where did I hear it?
Well, I told you a pretty good joke earlier.
Yeah,
What?
you did. You did
I'll
tell me
make
a joke.
I'll make quick work of it. Old couple. They're 95 and 93. They come into the lawyer's office. They've been married for 79 years, and they sit down in front of the lawyer, and they're kind of nervous. And the lawyer says, "Well, what do you want, folks?" And the woman says, "Well, we want a divorce." And the lawyer said, "You've been married for 79 years. Why do you want a divorce now?" And she said, "Well, we were waiting for the children to die."
All right, 1 minute. Let's see. Let's hear your account of the
I've
first.
got more.
Wait a minute. Back it up. No, back it up.
We're too late now.
We don't have that. I was playing the Sweetwater, Bobby. 4-night run.
The Sweetwater was just fine.
Are you guys dosing right now? No.
No, but
I mean, not at this moment.
what's your favorite pastime after playing music, Bob? Yes.
We'll move on. Boxers or briefs?
Hey,
Why don't you shave? You know, come on.
you're so hot.
I get that.
Yeah, you should see
Are
it,
you
though.
guys dosing right now?
No.
I don't know whether that means are we in the practice of still dosing? I mean, you
No.
haven't for years. But
Okay, we're sorry.
wait a second, we got a segment coming up.
We got a segment
More
coming
music.
up.
More music, yeah.
I think
Right.
what they're trying to tell us is this is going kind of slow, guys.
Yeah, well,
we're going to have to pick this
fair
up
enough.
next time we get to this.
All right. Well, I'll see all you folks out there in wherever you are. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after.
Or something like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it. Capo.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
2, 3, 4. Most of the time, I'm clear focused all around. Most of the time, keep both feet on the ground. I can follow the path, I can read the sign. Stay right with it when the road unwinds. I can handle whatever I stumble upon. Don't even notice she's gone most of the time. Most of the time. Can I have some more room? Most of the time. Well understood most of the time. Wouldn't change it if I could. Don't build up illusion till it makes me sick. Ain't afraid of confusion no matter how thick. And I can smile in the face of mankind. Don't even remember what her lips felt like on mine most of the time. Most of the time. Most of the time. Got my head on straight most of the time. Strong enough not to hate. I can make it all match up. I can hold my own. Deal with the situation right on down to the bone. I can survive and I can endure. I don't even think about her most of the time. Most of the time. Most of the time, she ain't even on my mind. Wouldn't know her if I saw her, that she's that far behind. Most of the time, I can't even be sure she was ever with me or I was ever with her. Most of the time. most of the time. Well, I'm halfway content most of the time. Know exactly where it all went. Don't cheat on myself, I don't run and hide. Hide from the feelings that are buried inside. I don't compromise and I don't pretend. Don't even care if I see her again most of the time. Most of the time. Most of the time. Most of the time. Dark star crashes, pouring its light into ashes. Reason tatters of forces tear loose from the axis. Searching for faults in the clouds of delusion. Shall we go, you and I, while we can? Through the transitive nightfall of diamonds.
There we are.
Mirror shatters, formless reflections of matter. Glass and dissolving in ice, petal flowers revolving. Lady in velvet recedes in the night of goodbye. Shall we go, you and I, while we can? The transitive nightfall of diamond. come to me, she lays on me this rose. The rainbow spiral round and round, it trembles then explodes. You let the smoking crater of my mind I like to blow away. For the heat come round that busted me for smiling on a cloudy day. Coming around y'all now. Coming around. Yeah, coming around y'all now. Coming around. Escaping through the fields, I came across an empty space. It rainbowed, then exploded, left a bus stop in its place. Bus come by and I got on, that's when it all began. There was Cowboy Neil at the wheel, the bus to never ever land. Coming around y'all now. Coming around. They're coming up, coming around y'all now. Coming around. Well, okay, thank you all. I think we're about out of time for this segment, so next week. And thank you to Dave Schools. And we'll be dragging him back. And thank you to John Barlow and Steve Parrish for their pearls of wisdom. And thank you all for your kind attention. And thank me for I don't know what. And you know, the hell with it. We're out of here.
Good night, everybody.
No, we got. Bob, how's Phil? You know, come on.
I like that.
Hey, when's for that guy?